So, guys, as you all mentioned, the purpose of this story is like so deep and meaningful because they were talking about the dead stuff and all, but they were not mentioning all about the dead things and the afterlife things. So it is not like, from my point of view, it's not like after that we have no connection between our mind and body, because some people will be like there's no connection between mind and body. It will be like after that onwards it will be like separated, like they are not connecting that much. So normally like that occurs when the subtle consciousness finally leaves the body, and they will go to a new life, like body, it will be like no function for the body, but in our mind and our soul it will be like resume, not resume, it will be like take another life, like right, we have that seven things of our in our every life, so maybe it will be like continuing in next life. So
Seven
Something
rebirths, is it?
related to rebirth, right?
maybe it's like, yeah, rebirth. Some they
Yeah,
do, some they know.
I think it's like a spiritual rebirth because our mind will get a new life. Our soul will get a new life.
Yes, true, Nimisha.
We can be formed as a new personality as well.
So, as for me, I learned in this reading, the reader's purpose is same thing as like you guys. It's mainly about life. So, the first thing is living in the moment. We should be more gratitude and enjoy every single moment in life. Like live your life to the fullest. Uh, not it's not always about the future because life is unpredictable. You always cannot be sure what will happen to you in the future. So in this story, I personally learned that we have a very short time. Like in life is very short. It is what happened to Martin also, because Martin has faced a lot of problems in his lifetime. So I think when he dies also, like the way he passed away also is not very nice. He was like he totally forgot about
Martin was
everything.
suffering with cancer actually.
Yeah, and then he like there's a scenario. He looked at his photo and the tears came out from his eyes. Like it was very sad. So I think Martin doesn't live his life to the fullest. So this is the main purpose I learned from this story, and
At
I
the
I would
point,
like to, yeah.
at the point, it was like more saddening when Martin actually thought he already recovered, but he didn't. He was actually still going through the cancer.
Yeah,
We got
like
it back
like I,
actually. After
like I
some
said,
years, we got it back.
life is very unpredictable. You cannot always predict the future. Like sometimes you are in up, sometimes below, like that. So also there are some character I want to like. There are certain character I want to learn from them, which is Greg. Like Greg, there have been two scenarios which define Greg, which is he is a loving and caring person. He always loved his brother. Like when the time his brother fell down from nearly died from a creep, he decided to become a doctor so that he can treat him every time his brother got like ill or injured something. And the second thing is Greg stood up for his friends who got bullied by bullies. So even though Greg doesn't have a much exposure in the story, um, these two things impress me. These two things Greg. So these are my these are very certain purpose in the story that I learned and I liked it. That's all.
Well, this is life, guys. So live your life happily. Like as what Nimisha and Leharan said, we won't know when we are gonna leave this world. So be happy. So let's move on to the last question. Critique the text. So to critique the test, I will start with the story structure.
To me, personally, I would say the story structure goes in a good flow because we know when are the ups and downs are coming in the story. And I even would say I like Martin's character. I like Martin's character, and they should have given more space to Helen because, as a mother, Helen's part was so less. I prefer to have more on Helen's part as a mother for two loving sons she had. Next, Martin and Helen gives more care and attention to Greg bef- uh, because of the first loss of their baby. They were more cautious so that it wouldn't repeat again to their second child, which is Greg.
Okay, so I would like to add on, like the question is we have to critique about the text. When it comes to me, I would like to say that in the story, the parental way of Helen and Martin is really super because normally typical parents would not accept the fact that for their sons to fall under LGBTQ youths. So it's really nice when they accept their son's perspective, saying that he's a gay, but still we can accept him as a human being, because it is one of the nature that God has created, and the feeling that he have towards someone, even though it is with the same gender, we should not ignore or neglect his feeling. And I think the religious belief should be reconstructed, saying that the marriages should be done with only different genders but not with the same gender. So I would support that parental way, and in our coming days this habit should be reconstructed and increased up. And
Yes,
I feel this is a good this should be taken or cultivated more in coming days.
yes, I agree to Shri because there are like many parents nowadays don't accept their children for who they are and what they have become. So Martin and Helen have made a great parental because they, instead of kicking out their son, they kept him with him and accepted him for who he is. So I would say that they are like different than how our real society is for right now. They are like rare people who accept their children who is becoming gay, lesbian, transgender, and so on. So yes, I would totally agree with his point.
Overall, I really enjoyed the story because I like how the author gives the fast flashback of Martin's life. He managed to put a story of how his life was when he was alive and how he suffered his illness, everything. He just mentioned it in a flashback. I also enjoyed reading Martin's family, especially the brotherly love of Greg and Thomas. I also like the way the waitress is kind and understanding. She guides Martin through the thinking process of which life to choose after his death.
To add on
However,
Nimi's point, even though Greg is a gay, but he still takes a good care of his brother Thomas. So like it's something really appreciating.
I would like to add on with Nimi's point on the waitress. I just got that insight suddenly. When we read the story, there will be a line that waitress is saying that no one is perfect, and I would thoroughly agree that. And don't try to be a perfectionist. Just do what is needed on that time, and that would be really good. So that storyline is really impressive for me. Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
looks like we have come to our end of discussion. But before that, I in if I want to critique the story means I had some actually I have a lot of things to say, but I just pinpoint several things. The first thing is I dislike this story, but there are some portions are very interesting, like Nimisha mentioned about how the author written about Martin's past in like a snippets. So it was very quick and it was very nice, and also if I want to critique other things means I don't prefer the location you chose to write this story. Restaurant is not like it's a it's a it's a it's not very related to something like that. So the location, and also there are some parts. What I feel is, I think the author need to uh, expand more about, like, you need to describe the description about certain things. You have to extend it. So it was like very small. So like when I read a book, I literally dream about the story. Like when I reading it, I dream about the story. When I read the short story, there are some portions like it was very quick, so I cannot feel the story. So that, and even though Martin is the main protagonist, I think you need a very big backstory, uh, like you guys mentioned. So I like his characterization is very few. We don't know more about Martin. So like Martin Scorsese once said, the most personal is the most creative. So I think the author need he doesn't have a much strong strongness writing this kind of genre. So I think he should write something else. So this story, even though you guys liked it, but I dislike the story. So that's my critique for this text.
Well, I'm satisfied with the story because it boosts our feelings of things like trust, compassion, and empathy. At the same time, I'm a little disappointed that Martin didn't try his level best to overcome from the nightmares that he suffered for about 5 years. In my opinion, no matter how hard things is, life has to move on. That's all from me.
And even it's really, really depressing to say that the main character has left the story, which means he have faced the death. But then at the age of 56, he have win an award, and he have not lived his life fully. He have just started living his life at the, at the not an early age,
At
but when it
aging,
comes,
at the aging
he's
age.
so it's really not fair for me to make someone who have not lived their life fully and make them die. And he is already got recovered from a disease, and he is getting back. It's really hard to have that kind of sad climax and ending for a story. So that's my critique. It's not really that
But
much nice.
I would say because Martin is no longer in the story, that is why it is interesting because we get to know about afterlife. If Martin is still in the story, we wouldn't even get to know about our afterlife, right? So it gives me like a good push for the story after life because Martin is no longer in the story lah.
Yeah, it is true. But we really need a deep understanding level to understand the story.
So
Because,
overall, guys, sorry, yeah, Nimi, I think it's
okay,
like
it's
running
okay.
out of time. So overall, guys, I can't conclude like I mean, I not it's like not concluding the critique from my opinion. It's like, uh, to based on that story, it's just a short story. And it's like quite exciting, interesting, and we could conclude anything, right? So from my point of view, in real life, we can't see like the real love, the real care towards a child and a mother. And then like no one in this, I think, in our in not in a way in our country, like some of the housing, a family housing or family whatever is it, they won't be accepting, when Thomas is like there enough to tell his parents like I'm a gay, like I'm having something like that. Won't you even think like in our house, like, or in our house, or like others, if we are telling that, means how our parents would be like reacting,
Obviously, if
so
my parents, they won't allow, they
they
won't
would
accept
deny
me.
they would deny that, because for sure they would deny that. And then um okay, why would like, okay, no, there are some fathers like not giving up on their life. They are like really a good survivor. But nowadays, like we can see in our own eye, like parents are getting divorced, like that kind of things, like they are not into their family much. They are not taking care of their family. That they still think like their own priority and stuff. So I would like, overall, I critique my critique is like, the story is interesting, but in our real life we can't conclude anything because nothing is permanent and we can't judge anything.
Yeah, from Harini's point, I can conclude that we can see who cares for us. We can see who the real ones care for us after we are dead only.
Well, we have come to the end. So thank you so much.
The
Thank you,
discussion was
everyone.
Thank
pretty
you.
good
Okay,
and
thank you so
nice.
much for
So
watching the
yeah,
video.
goodbye.